Imagine traveling to parks in a hot air balloon and befriending seagulls, owls, lions, and more. If it seems like something that only happens in a storybook, let me introduce you to Kiki from KeeKee's Big Adventures. Today, we'll take a break from the trails to learn more about planning a trip to the parks with your family. I'm your host, Missy Rentz, and this is the Parks Podcast. It won't surprise you that I came up with the idea for this podcast while I was exploring a park. I was on a hiking trail surrounded by big, beautiful pine trees. It's one of those places where a lot of my ideas come alive. I knew I wanted to tell the story of parks and make them more accessible for everyone. In addition, I feel like it's really important to dedicate some episodes to topics that help support you and your exploration of the parks. Things like gear, programs that are offered in parks, tips, and more. Today, we have one of those episodes. I'm really excited to welcome Shannon Jones, the founder of KeeKee's Big Adventures, the family travel entertainment brand, and author of award-winning children's book series, KeeKee's Big Adventure. Shannon, welcome to the Parks Podcast.
Thank you, Missy. It's so great to be here.
Well, I love Kiki. Kiki is quite the world traveler, and you tell her stories in a series of books. Share with us a little bit about what brought Kiki to life and where Kiki has been.
So I'm the founder and creator of KeeKee's Big Adventures. It's the kids and family travel entertainment brand, and we created it to inspire kids and families to explore the world and to have an appreciation for other places and cultures and languages, and just, really to get families exploring and hopefully with children helping raise more global citizens that come into this world and just, better people. That's kind of what we're trying to do. And so it all started literally 10 years ago, actually more than that. But the first book came out. We thought there were so many ways to create this platform and idea. And we thought creating a character that kids and families could love and that would attract them would be a great way to go in a picture book series. So we started with Big Adventures in Paris, France is the first book. And then we created 4 more books from there. So in her books, she's been to Paris, France, Rome, Italy, Amsterdam, the Netherlands, Athens, Greece, and London, England. So, it's 5 books, and then it's actually grown into so much more. As you know, we have a family travel podcast. Kiki is the family travel mascot for AAA clubs across the country. And so we are really just creating more content and more programs to help introduce kids and families to the country and the world.
So Shannon, I don't know if I told you this when it happened, but my first trip to Paris was, maybe 2.5 years ago. In order to prepare for the trip, I read KeeKee's Big Adventures and I made my to-do list. So even as an adult single traveler, it was so digestible to go, oh, here's what Kiki did. Let me go visit some of these places. And that's how I decided what I was going to do.
I love it. And I think that's like the cool thing too. I mean, as the writer of the books, I wanted to make sure that grownups are having to read picture books to kids all the time. And so it should be fun for the adult too. So, at bedtime, why not take a trip to another country? And what I tell kids in schools or kids that I meet, that I introduce the books to, everywhere that Kiki goes in the books is real. And it may be illustrated in an all animal world because Kiki is a curious world traveling cat. It may be all animals, but everything that she does and sees is real. And then you as a person can go and do those things as well, except for swimming in the Trevi Fountain. That would be the one, the one exception to the rule.
You have done a great job of showcasing parks in your books. Tell me about some of the parks that Kiki has visited.
Well, it's funny, right? When you said that to me, I was like, have I? And I have. There's so many types of parks and so many ways to explore parks. We actually feature parks in all of the books. I mean, because that is such an amazing way to explore any city, especially as a family. right? Like when you're traveling with kids, you need places for them to run around. There are famous parks in every city. And one of the main first places Kiki goes in her Paris adventure is the Tuileries Gardens, which is right by the Louvre. You can just stroll around, get a crepe from one of the vendors, watch the little sailboats on the lake, or I guess it's more of a pond. In Rome, like the Roman Forum that's near the Colosseum, it was once the center of the great Roman Empire. And you can literally just like walk through for free what is a park slash giant outdoor museum. Just outside of Amsterdam in a city called Lees is Kokenhof Gardens, which dates back to the 15th century. It's only open for 8 weeks each year, and it features more than 7 million flowers. You literally are just surrounded by flower fields. When you fly into Amsterdam in the spring, you can just see the rows of the flowers. It's like someone has painted the ground. In London, there are so many parks. Hyde Park is the largest and oldest park in central London, and it is actually one of 8 royal parks. And then, of course, the parks around Kensington Palace.
And I love to see how people use them. You know, you'll see people taking a nap or exercising or playing games. It's just so diverse. And it's like, for some people, it's like their backyard. So they really take advantage constantly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in a lot of these big cities, right? Like even New York City, people live in smaller places. And so you have, whether it's Central Park or Hyde Park or any of these parks where, you can just like that becomes your backyard, right? Because that's the space that you have. And like in Kensington, near Kensington Palace is the Princess Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial Playground, which is great for kids. Another one that I think is super cool is in Athens, Greece. There is a place called the Agora that is at the base of the Acropolis, the Parthenon on top of it. And then down below is the Agora, which used to be, it was like the center of Athens, like back in ancient times. And that's actually where Greeks invented democracy, and Socrates preached there. It was just, and it's a park. Again, it's ruins and all of these things, but it's a park.
Visit it for its history, or you can visit it because you're getting a little exercise or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So, those are some of the places in the books. Kiki has become the family travel mascot for many AAA clubs across the country. And so we're doing a lot on state parks and national parks, and they're great for everyone.
I think we're really lucky in the US that there's so much public land that's set aside for us. You had mentioned before you were doing some stuff on state parks. What is it that you like about the state parks when it comes to family travel?
Well, first of all, there's over 10,000 state parks in the US, which I guess kind of makes sense, particularly in the summer. Families want to go on a park vacation. National parks, as much as we love them, they can tend to be very crowded. And so state parks are a great option. And I also think, there are so many state parks in each state, and there's just tons of activities, right? Like hiking and swimming and fishing and camping and boating, depending on what park you go to. And then a lot of them you can stay in, there's cabins, there's lodges, there's camping. I was just writing an article for AAA about the 10 best state parks for family vacations through all of the research that I've done. And there are just such cool parks out there. Like New York has Letchworth State Park, which I had never heard of, but it's known as the Grand Canyon of the East. So you don't even need to go to the Grand Canyon to see a Grand Canyon. It has 20 waterfalls, 66 miles of hiking trails. Like the tallest fall is 107 feet tall. There's like a historic Glen Iris Inn in the park that you can stay in. Just like a really, really nice place. I mean, we know Assateague Park in Maryland, Island State Park. That's a state park. You can see the wild horses. I mean, I think you can find all of these different things like that I think that are interesting for the kids, right? Like a lot of adults think of going to the park for hiking, and not all kids like to hike, or there can be smaller hikes. A lot of these different features of the state parks, like there's a Devil's Ford State Park in South Carolina that has Lake Jocassee. I'm sure I'm saying
Right.
that wrong, but it has this amazing clear water, and it's like fed by all of these mountain streams. So it's like super clear. I mean, people go scuba diving there, but it's great for swimming and
Yeah.
boating.
You think of like more like Glacier to have that. So to know there's something like that
Exactly.
on the east is really incredible.
In South Carolina. And then there's a place called Cumberland Falls State Park, State Resort Park in Kentucky. It has a small, often it's called Little Niagara because of one of their falls is so big, 69 feet high. And the cool thing about this park is that you can see moonbows on the falls.
I've
So
never even heard that term.
me either. It's a white rainbow, or also called a lunar rainbow, and it appears for 2 or so days as long as the sky is clear on either end of the full moon. So literally it's one of few places in the world that you can see a moonbow. You could also stay in, one of the cabins or campsites. I
Yeah.
even found Slide Rock State Park in Arizona. It's north of Sedona, and it has a Mother Nature's slip and slide. So it literally has an 80-foot long red rock water slide that you can go on. How fun for everybody. How fun
Right,
for
right.
everyone in the family.
One of the
Um,
tips that was given to me when I was planning my trip was that oftentimes there's a state park that butts up to a national park, and that if the national park is too crowded or, sometimes it can get a little on the expensive side, that you can go to the state park. You might not see the same arches that you would see if you went to Arches National Park, but it's basically the same land. It's easier to get to, it's a little cheaper sometimes. It was a hack all the time, was go to a state park instead.
exactly. That's what I hear from people. I mean, Dead Horse Point State Park in Moab, Utah, is just that. It's a fantastic alternative to the big fives of Arches and Zion. It's called the Grand Canyon's long lost twin. And you
Okay.
can see views of the Colorado River and Canyonlands National Park from there. Also was the location of the filming of Thelma and Louise's iconic last scene. So you think that's in the Grand Canyon, but it was actually in this state park. So I mean, that's a great
Yeah,
example of
yeah.
your point.
Let's talk a little bit about preparing for a trip to the park. I certainly have spent a lot of time preparing for trips to parks, but it is different when you're preparing for a family. What have you come across, or what suggestions do you have for families as they're making those plans?
Well, like most vacations, first of all, you think about what's the time of year you want to go? How long do you have? How far do you want to travel? And what are the things that you want to see and do? I think that is a prerequisite to planning any vacation. I think the cool thing about parks, especially the national parks, you can go by yourself. You can also, there are companies like Trafalgar do guided vacations to the parks. If you didn't want to plan the whole thing yourself, which I know families that do not, Trafalgar takes you, you can hit some of the big parks. They take care of everything for you. And you can even go stay on a dude ranch as part of it. So I think it's what kind of experience are you looking for? Thinking about making reservations in advance, right? Like when you're a family, you can't wing it. You can wing some things, but you need to have a plan. I think that making reservations in advance, especially during peak season, and those things book up, right? You have to book on recreation.gov 6 months in advance, they open
Yeah.
up, and consider off season, like doing a fall weekend or something that's not so busy might be a good time to go. Getting the kids involved in the planning can be a great
Oh,
thing to get them excited about it, researching, thinking about activities. So I think it's just important to have the plan, just like you would on any vacation. The good news is that there's tons of resources out there to help, whether you want to do it on your own or you want to have someone do all the planning for you.
One of the things I love about a park is how leisurely it is, that there's many parks that don't have cell signals, and I think that's amazing. And I think it could be really challenging to keep a kid engaged when they don't have devices and when it's just nature. I know am familiar, like the national parks does the junior ranger program, which I often wish I could do as well. But what sorts of tips do you have for it? I know your socials and websites are filled with things, suggestions like this. So what do you think is a good idea?
I mean, I think exactly to your point, the parks, even the state parks, check the calendars of events because even the state parks, many of them have a junior ranger type program and just tons of educational opportunities, events, things that'll be fun for everyone that are engaging. The visitor center is a great place to start when you go to a park. But I think those are cool. And what a lot of them have are scavenger hunts. We've actually created for AAA a few outdoor scavenger hunts because that's a great way to keep everyone involved. You could even take a theme like bird watching, like how many birds can you identify, whether it's through their markings or their songs, bringing binoculars or a chart to just have as part of your planning. Here are the things that we're going to look for. Let's experience as a family. Maybe it's leaves or maybe it's rocks.
Are those available to the public?
I would say that for some of these things that I'm talking about with AAA, you could go to AAA.com/family-travel. That's where you can get a lot of the things that we've been creating for exploring parks. A lot of the other stuff you can come to our website. One of the other things that I think is really cool, and I know you're big on this, and I am so into wanting to do it, and I think this is so cool for kids, is stargazing, right? So all of these parks, whether state or national, that they're actually stargazing parks. They're dark sky parks, which I just think that would be amazing for kids to like find some of the parks that do that. Yeah. I know there's a trail in Colorado where the whole trail is dark parks. And they have programming and, I mean, you can camp or you don't have to camp. But I think like that too would be just an amazing thing for kids to get them engaged in the park and, get them learning about the sky.
And one of the things that popped to my mind, an idea, is maybe check your child's art teacher because there's a lot of different art that can be done. And you may or may not be a creative person, but that could be fun. And I know you have some worksheets on KeeKee's Big Adventure that could be fun. Another thing on KeeKee's Big Adventures website is Flat KeeKee. And I love Flat KeeKee.
Thank you. You're a big fan. We appreciate it.
Flat KeeKee and I are preparing a 3-week trip where she will be clipped to my backpack and seeing all sorts of sights for a few weeks. But tell me a little bit about Flat KeeKee and what Flat KeeKee has done, and maybe what are Flat KeeKee's favorite things to do?
Flat KeeKee just loves to travel. She loves everything. We're in the process of developing a plush, but like that is something that everyone has always asked for. Like, we want to take KeeKee on our adventures. Similar to those of you that are older, like myself, Flat Stanley created a Flat KeeKee so that you can take her on your adventures. It's literally just like a cutout, laminate her. That's the best way. Someone just sent pictures and
It's all limp.
Yeah, just plain paper doesn't always work, but it's great to have her laminated and then take her on your adventures. And again, that's another way to engage the kids. If they want to take pictures, let's have Flat KeeKee. Let's see how many things we can capture with Flat KeeKee around the park. She just loves to go on adventures. I mean, she was in San Francisco. She was in the Outer Banks over spring break. There's so many places that she goes, and I'm jealous of her travels. Yeah, you can go to our website. It's KeeKee. So KeeKee is how you spell it. KeeKee'sBigAdventures.com. We have a weekly newsletter that comes out. We call it the KeeKee Club Career. So you can join the free KeeKee Club. And we send out a weekly email that just has fun things for the family, like travel, non-travel, exploring at home. And there are things that we provide like Flat KeeKee. So you can actually download a Flat KeeKee as part of signing up for the KeeKee Club. And there's a fun downloadable board game that you can just print out at home, fun for the kids to play. And then when you're traveling, make sure that you tag KeeKee's Big Adventures or even hashtag KeeKee's Big Adventures or hashtag flat Kiki so that we can share your pictures too, because we love getting those. And we do a Kiki Friends Friday on Instagram and Facebook, same things, KeeKee's Big Adventures. And we love to share things that we get from fans.
You have a new feature coming to the website. I am not sure if we're allowed to talk about it, but I'm going to put you on the spot here. Can you tell us about this new passport program that you are launching?
When you think about it, you really only have 18 years of vacations with your kids. So as a family, that's 18 summers. So we've created the Family Travel Passport with AAA to be the first of its kind web-based app, really designed to help families plan and make the most of those 18 years of vacation together. It's really cool. So familytravelpassport.com, powered by AAA Travel. And it's great because the whole family gets involved and everyone goes into the app and selects activities and attractions and destinations. And then it literally creates your family's very own family travel passport that you can use to really maximize your time together over the next, however many years you have left with your kids. So everyone that's tried it and all of the families that are using it are just loving it. So can't wait for your listeners to check it out. familytravelpassport.com.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so we wrap up each episode with a series of questions, and I just want you to answer with the first thing that comes to mind. What is your earliest park memory?
I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, and we were lucky enough to be really surrounded by the National Mall and all of the museums and all of the amazing monuments. So my earliest memory, I would say, is being at all of those locations and discovering everything that the National Mall had to offer.
What made you love the parks?
I think it's everything that you can discover in most of the parks. That could be something new in nature or it's something that you learn. Being outside, I'm a huge fan of nature, so it's something that you definitely get to do in the parks.
What park have you yet to visit, but it's on your bucket list, and why?
I can't wait. I know it's the most famous park, but I can't wait to see Old Faithful and Yellowstone. I've never been to Montana or Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, so I can't wait to just get out there and explore those.
What is your favorite campfire activity?
My favorite campfire activity is s'mores. I mean, what else is there to say? And forget it, s'mores, roasted marshmallows. I love roasting marshmallows and just that whole activity and taking it layer by layer. That's my favorite activity.
Tent, camper, or cabin?
I'm going to go with camper or cabin, preferably.
What is your best animal sighting?
We were just recently in Myakka State Park and we saw, of course, tons of birds. There's just such amazing ornithology here in Florida. We have parrots in our backyard. I mean, come on. But the best animal sighting just recently was seeing an alligator in the park. That was a little bananas.
What is your favorite sound in the park?
Favorite sound in the park? Quiet and just the birds.
And finally, what is the greatest gift that parks give to us?
The greatest gift that parks give to us is nature and a place that you just know is not going to be developed. And whether that is among trees, in the water, you can go to Biscayne National Park, which is, what is it, 80% underwater, or go to beaches. So there's just so many places that parks preserve for us to enjoy. I think that's the greatest gift.
Shannon, thank you so much for being on the podcast and for everything that you do to help make family travel easier. And I cannot wait for more adventures with Kiki.
Thank you, Missy, and thanks for taking her on your upcoming adventures.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to like and share on your favorite podcast platform. Music for the Parks podcast is written, performed, and produced by Porter Hardy. For more information, please follow us on Instagram at The Parks Podcast or Visit our website at theparkspodcast.com.